Welcome to the Messiah Song and the Secrets of Songs. And in this video, we're already deep in Song of Solomon. Why are we busy with Song of Solomon, and why is the channel called the Messiah Song? Because Solomon is an encoded prophecy for the Messiah. Remember, Solomon's name means peace, and Messiah gave peace between us and God by dying on the cross in the stead of us. And if that now is making you affronted because you don't yet know who the Messiah is, please go watch about 2 videos back. The women of songs actually speak to the women of Jerusalem that ask her, why is your Messiah the Messiah? Really, you've got to watch that, because God has placed, you understand, God himself placed the answer in the mouth of the woman of songs long time before Jesus came to fulfill it, and he describes him to the T. You got to hear that. By God alone that is opened. You got to hear that. Click on the channel name, the little icon for Messiah Song. Otherwise, just go on YouTube itself, type in the handle at the Messiah Song, all lowercase letters, double S without the apostrophe, and you'll find the Secrets of Songs playlist. It is better to go there because Song of Solomon goes line by line. It's incredible how the one verse goes into the next. And if you're not in the playlist, then it may jump around as YouTube gives it. And that random scrambled order may cause a little bit of a disturbance in listening to it. So it's better to hear it in the playlist. All right. Here we listen to the groom that says, your teeth. All right. He's describing the woman of songs as teeth. Why would he do so? Why compare it with a flock shorn that comes up from the washing that bears twins? The woman of songs has got 2 levels of prophecy. Now, we've spoken about the deepest one, and the rest of the video is going to be devoted to that, but there's something that you mustn't miss here, because the teeth is bearing twins, and teeth in Hebrew has got a double association. The one, well, if you think about a teeth, it is very sharp, so it ties with piercing, and that is active in the deepest level of prophecy, and we're going to go there. The second meaning ties with teaching, sharp teaching. The woman of songs teaches, she unveils, she witnesses the testimony of the Messiah, because she sings the song of Solomon, the prophecy of the Prince of Peace, which is the Messiah. But her teaching is tied here with twins. Twins, thus a double. And there's an interesting connection that we can make between Revelations 11 and also with the Elijah that points to the Messiah. We'll speak about that in a subsequent video if it is God's will. There's something astounding that God has revealed, and we're going to get there. But keep that in mind. There's going to come a day when you're going to hear something by God's grace alone regarding Elijah that goes to Revelations 11, 2 witnesses. And if you go into the deepest level of prophecy, where you no longer regard the woman on the first level of prophecy as a witness, an end-time person that knows the identity of Messiah, there's a reason why you can say it's end-time as well. Click on the channel name. There's already a video on that. But if you go in the depth of the prophecy, you hear Solomon's song. You hear the Messiah song, hence the name of the channel. Because all of this is the prophecies of the Messiah. So the tooth of the woman, your teeth. Teeth thus ties with teaching diligently, like we've spoken already, but also with cutting and piercing. It is like a cutting, it is like a piercing, that is like a flock that comes up shorn. When sheep are being shorn, their hair is being cut off. They cut. What is this with cutting? In Daniel, we find the prophecy that the anointing for the Messiah would be to be cut off, not for himself. In other words, he would come to die. Piercing is like cutting. When Jesus was on the cross, he was pierced by the Roman soldier's sword. Remember, also by the thorns. But the Roman soldier's sword's piercing was the proof that he has been cut off from life, that he died. Instead of breaking his bones, they pierced his body. He says to this woman, which is the death verdict, your piercing is like a flock, an arrangement of being cut off. Indeed, the fiery justice wrath of God's piercing of Jesus, right? He was pierced by the Roman soldier's sword, was a proof that he has died, that he is fulfilled, that he was cut off, which came up from the laving, the washing. When you are washed, being under the water, water in Hebrew ties with wasting, Jesus died. And all of it bears twins. Twins in their root meaning thereof ties with completion. It was fulfilled. When Jesus was on the cross, it was proven that he has died by that piercing of the Roman soldier's sword where water and blood came from. He died. And there was nothing miscarrying. There was no barrenness amongst this woman's piercing. He died. It was fulfilled. So if we read this in English, we find your portion is an arrangement to cut that comes up, that rises from the wasting away, all complete, no miscarriage involved. He died. He fulfilled the punishment for sin, which is death. Going into the ties with the two witnesses of Revelation and Elijah and a double portion, remember the woman's teeth. Her teaching is twinned. We'll speak about that again if it's God's will.